The cause of anti-racism and mass migration are evil and demonic undertakings designed to destroy a people and culture. As leftists write articles with the titles of Why a Rise in Sexual Assaults by Migrants is a Price Worth Paying to End Racism, and Dear White Women, White Babies Are White Supremacy. AFRU. Why a Rise in Sexual Assaults by Migrants is a Price Worth Paying to End Racism. Quasi-consensual encounters between refugees and white Western women may help with assimilation. Increasingly, they result in a shared apartment and a new surname. It's unfortunate but true. Language gaps and cultural misunderstandings often mean that the first romantic encounter between a Western woman and a refugee can be perceived as quasi-consensual in nature. Blank is sex, claims asylum seeker accused of gang blanking lone drunk woman on Brighton Beach. The Daily Mail. Usually it starts with a halting conversation or an awkward catcall in a park, a refugee language class, or a volunteer dinner. Teen waives her anonymity to reveal horrific sexual assault by Iranian illegal migrant from the Daily Mail. But increasingly, these encounters result in a shared apartment, a mixed-race child, a new surname, and a happy future. A quiet revolution is taking shape across Europe and North America, and is being led by white Western women. They're not performing acts of charity, nor engaging in fetishism or exoticism. Asylum seeker spied on naked women swimmers months after sexually assaulting 2 women on trains. Pioneering women are placing the burden upon themselves to become the most powerful force undermining the very architecture of racial exclusion. In countries where a supposed refugee blank crisis is cast as a threat, their beautiful interracial unions permanently puncture the entire narrative of the xenophobic right. The transformation is intimate, but the implications are structural. 2023 Hamburg trial in Germany. German judge Anne Meyer-Göring let 8 migrant men go free after they gang-blanked a 15-year-old girl for 3 hours, ruling migration frustration a factor. Freed men are Afghan, Iraqi, Syrian, Moroccan, Turkish, and Bulgarian. The collapse of ugly abstractions. Racism relies on distance. Stereotypes thrive in the absence of proximity. The moment a Western woman forms an intimate relationship with a refugee, she begins to see things differently. Many describe it not as a shift in ideology, but an emotional vocabulary. Fear dissolves, replaced by the particularity of experience. That particularity is contagious.
Now in Europe, it's reached a new breaking point as crime and rape are all-time highs. And while the EU encourages this migration, many people are suffering, both the migrants and the people of the cities and the countries inside the EU and the UK. And here in this part of Paris, it is almost unrecognizable now.
So, and you can see now the market of Barbès. Your viewer can't smell, but
it smells very bad.
It smells like shit. And
it does indeed
clean.
Smell like.
Once I introduced Kareem to my parents, he wasn't a Syrian refugee anymore, says Julia, a 32-year-old nurse in Stuttgart. He was just someone who slapped my butt while I was out shopping groceries. He simply didn't know how else to get my attention at the time. And now he's their son-in-law. The family's politics shifted more in 6 months of dinners than in a decade of op-eds. Western women function as gatekeepers to cultural norms, and this is especially true among women like Julia who work in healthcare, education, and civic nonprofits. When they enter partnerships with refugees, they cease to be emissaries of assimilation. They become co-constructors of new cultural hybrids. These women often introduce their partners to informal but essential codes, how to navigate bureaucracy, what behaviors signal trustworthiness, how to perform integration in a society obsessed with appearances. At the same time, they absorb the refugees' worldview, witnessing firsthand how Western institutions often fail the very people they claim to welcome. The exchange is not transactional, it's alchemical. Both are changed. Lasting love is a counter-narrative against the blank crisis conspiracy theory. British Broadcasting Company, the BBC. Sweden blank. Most convicted attackers foreign-born, says TV. About 58% of men convicted in Sweden of blank and attempted blank over the past 5 years were born abroad, according to data from Swedish national television. Oh, it's just a conspiracy theory, right? For years, right-wing media has cultivated the image of a refugee as a hypersexual, violent, and dangerous to white women. But the increasing visibility of interracial couples disrupts this narrative from the inside. Each couple is a rebuke to the xenophobic imagery. 1,000 quiet stories like Sarah married Ali accumulate into something more than anecdotal. They become potent political critique. DW News, media from Germany. The statistics showed a total of 13,320 cases of blank and sexual assaults for 2024, an increase of 9.3 compared to the previous year. Of the 11,329 suspects identified of such crimes, 6,892 were German citizens, and just over a third, 4,437, were non-German suspects. Now realize, when they say German citizens, they're talking about anyone who has German citizenship. So that number likely includes many migrants who have gained legal citizenship. What's more, this isn't performative inclusion, it's embodied integration. A brown man once stood in the deportation queue is now a son-in-law, a father at the PTA meeting, a mortgage co-signer. His existence is suddenly legible and fully included.
From collated police evidence showing that foreign men, mostly from Albania, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Algeria, were over 3 times more likely to be arrested for sex offences than British citizens.
Interracial couplings of all possible configurations force society to reconcile with the reality that does not conform to fear-mongering templates. In a society where whiteness is still the unmarked norm, these relationships redistribute the optics of who belongs. Yeah, well, you're definitely trying to change, note, the unmarked norm. You're definitely trying to change that from whiteness to brown, aren't you? There's another layer, quieter but no less disruptive. When Western women form relationships with refugee men, they break with the implicit racial and political allegiances of their birth. White men are often animated by nationalist or racialist worldviews and can experience these unions as betrayals, and they are right to. These women are not just falling in love, they are puncturing the fragile white male consensus that has long been underwritten white identity politics. Each white womb decorated with a brown or black baby make racial purism increasingly not just odious but logistically impossible. From micro to macro, Albert Allport's mid-century contact theory proposed that sustained cooperative contact between groups under conditions of equality reduces prejudice. These relationships are the contact hypothesis in the most intimate form. They are not state-sponsored integration programs, they are integration incarnate.
Let's look to Germany. Shocking figures show that between 2017 and 2021, Afghans and Pakistanis were 16 times more likely to be implicated in rape than German citizens.
In other words, where the state fails, the bedroom succeeds. When white supremacy wants white women to zig, they zag. None of this is to romanticize the challenges, but they are truly put into action something that no institution can mandate: the total collapse of the line between us and them. In the end, racism depends on abstraction, fear, and distance. Love destroys all three.
In Finland, only 3.3 Finnish people per 10,000 were sentenced for sex crimes in 2017, compared to 138 Afghans and 134 Iraqis. And in Sweden, we see a similar story. Between 2013 and 2018, more than half of those convicted of rape or attempted rape were born in a foreign country. In cases where the victim did not know their attacker, the figure rises to 85%. Let's break that down. Algerians were 122 times more likely to commit rape than a native Swede, and Afghans 69 times more likely. Let's look now to France. In 2023, 77% of solved rape cases in Paris were committed by men who did not even hold French passports. While in 2020, 62% of sex assaults on public transport were committed by foreign nationals. In Italy, a similar picture emerges. As a proportion of rape suspects, North Africa and the Middle East are heavily overrepresented. Afghanis and Pakistanis, for instance, are proportionally 15 times more likely to be a suspect than an Italian. Like Britain, Denmark has also experienced a surge in sexual violence from around 2015 onwards, rising from around 2,500 cases in 2012 to almost 10,000 in 2022. Sexual assaults have more than tripled in just 10 years. Conviction rates for violent crimes, the closest data we could find, are dominated by nationals from the same regions, the Middle East and North Africa.
And if you guys had any doubt about it, this AFU website under which this article was published is real. And it has stuff like, my father taught me how to be the perfect side piece. There's so much more to being a good mistress than discretion. Philosophy on tips on executing the perfect extramarital fling. Wow, that's nice. And there's the article we just covered right there. Here's a great article. 5 essential tips for landing and keeping a rich older man. Their mindsets are different from young guys in many important ways. Here's how to win over your own well-to-do gray fox. Dear racists, you eat birds too. Racists are furious over migrants grilling seagulls and geese. Newsflash, most Americans eat birds. Ever heard of chicken? Toke for 2, honoring my favorite dead sex clients. When clients vanish and never contact me again, usually I can only guess what happened. But Crazy T and Latex Geezer were different. And don't be mistaken, these leftists' intent is quite clear, and this is crystallized further by this article right here. Dear white women, white babies are white supremacy. Your potential to contribute to society extends far beyond the walls of your home. White women are key to ending white privilege, and we count on their partnership to help achieve full equality. In our society, the expectation to have children is ordained by the system and can be overwhelming. But have you noticed something? Those expectations squarely fall on white women in middle to upper class communities. So let me tell you something that we all feel but few have dared speaking up about. When we see a white woman with a white baby, it scares us on an existential level. Having white children is perpetuating white supremacy. There's no way around that. As well, white babies make us feel unwelcome, and like our beautiful children of color, will never have opportunities or a dignified future. This is important. What I'm about to tell you is not hate for any kind of babies. It is a logical conclusion of any person of color operating under a historical system of white supremacy. Believe it or not, upper middle class white lady, the purpose of being a woman is more than just having a McMansion and squirting babies into it. Women can and should seek fulfillment beyond the traditional roles of wife and mother. Your potential to contribute to society extends far beyond the walls of your home. Why is it so hard for white women to break free from the privilege and understand that? Consider the environmental impact of another Timmy and Karen running around. Each new baby contributes to significant consumptions of resources in an already overburdened planet. Our society is grappling with climate change, resource depletion, and environmental degradation. By choosing to have fewer children or none at all, you can reduce your carbon footprint and help create a more sustainable future for all of us. And the societal implications? The current demographic trends reinforce existing power structures. White privilege and systemic racism are perpetuated when the majority population continues to grow without significant changes in the status quo. You can and are expected to actively participate in dismantling these oppressive systems. Reflect on the reasons behind your desire for children. Is it driven by genuine longing, or is it influenced by societal pressures and expectations? Ask yourself what kind of world you want to contribute to and how your choices align with those values. Invest in existing children, particularly those from marginalized communities, can be incredibly fulfilling and impactful. Mentorship, fostering, adoption, or simply supporting organizations that work with disadvantaged youth can make a substantial difference. By redirecting your resources and energy that otherwise would have gone into creating even more privilege, you can help level the playing field and create opportunities for the folks who need them most right now. The decision is to bring more babies into the world has far-reaching consequences no matter your race, but white women are key to ending white privilege, and we count on their partnership to help achieve full equality. So you see, white women, closing your legs for just a little bit is the only possible path forward for a future of peace and happiness for all. So now you know their agenda is laid bare for all to see. Not that it was ever hard to observe. It's been right in our faces the entire time. These leftists hate you. They hate your culture. They hate everything about you. They hate themselves. They are truly disgusted, and they are colluding 100% with the media.